What a wild concept of a woman, of marriage. The main thing that is not understood is that a marriage without love is not a marriage, that only love illuminates marriage. What kind of love is this? Forgive me. What love illuminates marriage? True love. If there is this love between a man and a woman, marriage is possible. What is meant by true love? Everyone knows what love is, but I do not know. We need to define what you mean. Very simple. Love is the exclusive preference of one person over others. Yes, absolutely right. But how long does the preference last? For a month, a year, 2 days, half an hour? I don't know. Forgive me. You are obviously talking about something else. No, I am talking about that very thing, about the preference of one person over all others. But I am just asking, for how long? For how long? For a long time. Sometimes for a lifetime. Fair enough. But this only happens in novels and romances. In life, never. In life, this preference of one over all lasts for years, which is very rare. More often it lasts for months, or even weeks, days, or hours. Oh, come on. Yes, I know, you are talking about what is considered to exist, and I am talking about what actually is. Every man experiences what you call love for every beautiful woman. Oh, that's terrible what you're saying. But there is that feeling between people which is called love, and which is not given for months or years, but for a lifetime. No, it doesn't exist.
Hello, how are you? How are things with Max? Hello. Well, not very well. At first, everything was great. We spent a lot of time together. But then everything changed. We started to argue and fight, and now we hardly see each other. Maybe it's true, there is no love. But what does love have to do with it? We constantly see people in movies and TV shows falling in love, breaking up, falling in love again, over and over. And for some reason, we think this is love. But maybe it's just sexual attraction. So what is true love then? It is something that is above all of this, and it only exists in books. It can also exist in life, but it requires time and work on oneself. What you had at the beginning was just infatuation. When you want to chat on the phone for hours, see each other every day, and all that. So what's wrong with that? You are just satisfying your feelings, and you think that you have, like, true love, and you are the perfect couple.
Nature has arranged it so that there is a honeymoon phase, initially pleasant relationships, very saturated, fresh feelings, such intense love between them. They communicate, do not part, only look at each other, and so on.
They just don't know what to call love and what to call attachment. And why does it seem that there is no love? Because the first feeling that arises in us at the level of some chemical processes is attachment. I love bananas, for example. I love bananas. But what do I do with them? I just eat them. That is, my love is only based on the desire to consume, on the desire to satisfy my own feelings.
Infatuation. Saturation. It is during the period of infatuation that people make the craziest actions and the biggest mistakes. What happens to a person at this moment? A man and a woman feel a strong attraction to each other as certain hormones begin to be produced in the body. The mind becomes dulled, and those in love perceive any advice from the outside very painfully. They are like people who have spent a long time in a waterless desert. They try to indulge in their passionate relationships and believe that it will last forever.
There is a certain path between infatuation and love, because people confuse a commercial with the very essence of love. And then they make the mistaken conclusion that love has ended, while love has not even begun. It's like we watched the trailer before the movie, but we haven't seen the movie yet. Well, maybe so, and what next? Sooner or later, your feelings will become saturated. Being together is no longer as interesting as before, and you look for reasons not to meet each other. I'm not looking for a reason. Feelings cool down anyway. You took, and became saturated. Quarrels and mutual claims arise. In general, how about you?
We cannot hear the same thing repeatedly. We cannot watch the same movie over and over. We cannot even listen to the most beautiful music continuously and constantly. That is, the effect of saturation will inevitably occur.
That is, at first we show our best or qualities and see the best manifestations in our partner as well. But in the course of life, in the process of communication, some negative sides begin to come to the surface, but we are not ready to live with it. We are not ready to come to terms with it because we just want to enjoy naturally. The first thing that happens is quarrels. That is, you turn out to be not what I thought, or you are not like that. I expected something completely different.
Saturation. Our feelings can be compared to a vessel. Any vessel will fill up sooner or later. Saturation is the extreme point. The line between saturation and aversion. Hardly anyone manages to stay close to the object of their passionate sighs for long while maintaining a state of rosy happiness. For some, 2 weeks is enough, while for others, disappointment can strike right the next morning after the wedding.
As a rule, in the moment of falling in love, we do not love the person themselves. We love our ideas about them, our fantasies about them, our assumptions, our embellishments, our dreams, our hopes. This is what we love. This is what we fall in love with. And we nurture this, we cultivate it, and then suddenly the person is not at all in that direction and not at all about that. And at that moment, we have to rethink in general, when I said I love you, what was it about?
I have many examples. People want to get married very quickly, very quickly. They literally rush in as if out of breath. They say, let's do it urgently. We need to get married urgently. We love each other terribly. We can't do without each other anymore. We need to get married. We need to do everything urgently. They rushed in, we got married, didn't run away. These are the most shameful weddings that exist in the world. Exactly those. Then they appear in your life. After some time you ask, well, how are you living? They say, well, we haven't been living together for a long time. And you realize that you are a criminal because you married completely unprepared people.
When feelings are saturated, a phase of irritation sets in. We have already gotten used to each other. We start to annoy each other, and eventually we begin to irritate each other. It's all again the activity of human feelings, the usual activity of feeling.
I remember when I was a student, I suddenly realized that when I say I love you, I actually love how you love me. And then I have to meet this person and see him, or just be disappointed and start looking for another fantasy, dream, illusion that I will love again and then be disappointed in again. Most people are exactly occupied with this. They see no one but their fantasies. And disappointment is always a separation from one's own ideas about that person.
Come on, not everyone is like that. Okay. What kind of cake do you like? Well, Napoleon. And now imagine, Every evening coming home, you eat Napoleon cake. And day by day, what will happen? I will gain weight. And after a month, you will start to hate both Napoleon cake and Paris and France in general. The same thing happens in relationships. We get saturated, and disgust arises. If that's the case, then no one would get married. The end of the wedding industry. This is not only about relationships between a girl and a guy, it also happens in families. People meet, get married, become saturated with each other. Aversion arises, arguments occur, and they, thinking that love has ended, get divorced.
That is, at first we really want some object. We start to feel involved. We really want to try it all. Then the feelings become saturated, and disappointment occurs. And it seems to us, oh, that was some kind of illusion. It turns out I don't love this product, or I don't love this person, or there is actually no love. That's the disappointment. The process is that this love wasn't there yet.
But the first snow melts, love, let's emphasize again, is a feeling created by a mature personality. And when a person is immature, of course, everything will be very emotionally selfish, very hysterical. There will be a lot of grievances, and this feeling will then disappear somewhere.
And now, people do not want to work, they just want to fall in love. And you know, like chewing gum, you chew it, the flavor is gone, you spit it out and get the next piece of gum. And people just walk around, such a cheap attitude, like, you know, butterflies, moths, mayflies, staying here for a little while, staying there for a little while. It causes me great regret because a person does not connect with their own depth or the depth of another person.
Aversion. The period of aversion is characterized by deep disappointments. It is at this stage that almost all divorces happen. Look how primitive everything is. We get close because we feel good, and we drift apart because it's no longer so good. This is the level of animal consciousness. Sexual attraction no longer affects consciousness, and partners begin to find faults in each other, argue, and break up. Again they meet someone, again there is sexual desire, and again there is saturation and aversion. And so it goes on and on.
Everything that is caused by ordinary material feelings goes through several phases, such as hunger, saturation, surfeit, and aversion. This is natural. That is absolutely everything. Like us, for example, if we are hungry, everything tastes good to us. But as we start to eat, this hunger gradually gets satisfied. And so, for example, many people crave relationships. And when they enter into a relationship, it is so bright, so juicy. And then this also gets saturated, and a person moves into surfeit, and then saturation, and up to aversion. A true relationship is beyond this.
Our first quarrel happened on the third or fourth day. I called it a quarrel, but it wasn't a quarrel. It was just the discovery of the chasm that actually existed between us. Infatuation was exhausted by the satisfaction of sensuality, and we remained facing each other in our actual relationship with one another. Two completely alienated egoists, wanting to gain as much pleasure for themselves as possible, one at the expense of the other. But I didn't understand this. I thought, well, we had a quarrel. Well, we made up, and that it would never happen again.
Well, let's say the couple realized that it was just physical attraction, feelings have become saturated, and so on. What should they do then? First of all, patience is needed. Just sit and endure. Secondly, take responsibility in a relationship with a loved one. It may be unpleasant, but they endure and care for each other. What does it mean to take responsibility in a relationship? You live with a person, see their flaws, something bothers you about them, something irritates you, but you continue to fulfill your duties. For example, she creates comfort, cooks food, he provides for the family, takes responsibility for you and the children.
Patience varies. There is a type of patience, in ignorance, when I just suppress myself. Something comes out of me, I push it down, I endure. Then I will definitely explode 100%. Because true patience is impossible without me working on myself. Because patience is a constructive quality, not a suppressive quality. So constructive patience is when, as a result of this patience, I become different. My heart becomes different. My understanding becomes different. I realize that as a result of patience, I become better. It's not that I just wait for something to happen with another person.
The fulfillment of duty, the period. Of performing duties out of a sense of obligation can be quite lengthy. Nevertheless, periodically in relationships of this level, flashes of genuine gratitude and love manifest. By and large, only a spiritually rich person can act out of a sense of duty. Fulfilling duty does not diminish human dignity in the slightest. On the contrary, it elevates it.
All relationships that actually last long are dictated by a sense of duty. So it's a play on words, duty and long-lasting. That is, people who live in relationships and have a sense of duty towards each other, their family, their loved ones, and their responsibilities can indeed live long.
A person may like, for example, a girl may like some small, bold, strong jock who is not afraid of anyone. But that doesn't mean she can live with him. Therefore, women in this sense should be more practical, serious, and grounded. She should look at him and understand whether she can live with him or not. It's not about sleeping, hanging out, or showing off to friends. Look at the guys I came with. In other words, it's not really for living. But she should look at him from the perspective of an adult woman, even if he is, for example, 18 years old. In other words, she is a smart girl. Her feminine instincts have already awakened. Will he be a father or not? Can you have children with him? Can you really give yourself to him? To walk through life together? Will he even be a man? Will he protect me if something happens or not? Who is he really? She should look at a man this way, as a woman. There's nothing wrong with that. There is a good pragmatism in it.
A person will not live out of duty if they do not understand the benefit of it. Because the concept of duty contradicts the idea of happiness for many people. Happiness is a free life, they think. Enjoy whatever you want. This is usually characteristic of the youth's mindset. The older generation, on the other hand, has experienced and understands that without duty, you cannot build a family or society. It is impossible to achieve anything, in principle.
And what now? Fulfill duties, gritting your teeth until the end of life. What about our happiness, love? What will you feel if a loved one does something good for you day after day? Well, like, joy, gratitude. Yes, and the feeling of gratitude gives rise to respect for a person. You start to appreciate them. So is respect, love. Well, that's already close to it. And how do we get there? It is important to learn to appreciate a loved one for their inner world, to respect them for their care and patience, and of course, to develop positive character traits.
A girl must learn to develop certain qualities that will help her in her life. The first very important quality is self-esteem. A girl who knows her worth will not allow herself to be treated improperly. The next quality a girl must learn is acceptance. To accept a person as they are, with their strengths and weaknesses. Not just to accept, but also to emphasize the best qualities of that person. It is also very important for a girl to understand that she must take care of her health. Because in a relationship, a man can care, he can be concerned. But if there is a constantly sick, dissatisfied woman next to him, then there will be no good relationship. Therefore, a healthy lifestyle is also very important. A girl should develop feminine qualities, such as softness, patience, and femininity. It manifests in mannerisms, speech, and appearance. These are all different parameters of the same quality. To develop good qualities, a girl needs to communicate with people who embody these qualities. Find people you want to be like, who possess these qualities, and who will help you become a true woman.
You know, there are so many distractions for a person nowadays. Most people are busy with their external lives. How do I look? How do I appear? Selfies, then Instagram, likes. Ultimately, a person's inner life is the true reality, because all this superficiality will fall away. Every evening and every morning, I would recommend every young person to turn inward. What is everything that is happening to me in life leading me to? Am I wasting my life, or am I creating something within? Because a person cannot love another if they do not understand themselves.
First of all, one needs to be attentive to the people around them, not reach for the stars, not envy anyone. Engage in useful activities, and try to be helpful to at least someone, not to waste time in vain.
And true relationships are always closely tied to the fact that this second person is important to you. What kind of person is in front of you? Sometimes a person does not even know what treasure lives inside them, and the second person helps them. This is what is called love, when we open each other up together. This is what love is about.
Respect, love. Love cannot be something superficial, as it is now presented. It is spiritual by its nature, and it is important not to confuse it with ordinary sexual attraction. True love between close people will arise only when they collaborate with each other to develop their positive qualities.
This care, this service is the essence of true love. If we do nothing useful for each other, there can be no talk of love at all. It is merely a consumer feeling to enjoy each other, to exploit each other.
And what is love? It is the ability to serve. Because love, and many perceive it as, you know, a romantic feeling that overwhelms me under the moon, I don't know, tingles on the skin, and so on. Mostly everyone thinks about this. However, if we take examples of truly selfless love, for instance, a mother to her child, or when it comes to elderly parents, when you can no longer receive anything in return, yes, this is always an example of service. And our task in life is to learn to be selfless, to learn to be useful, to learn to build relationships, to learn to serve. This is all called love. And this is truly the goal of our life.
Once, a woman had an unusual dream. She was walking through the city and upon entering an unfamiliar street, saw a sign that read, "Everything for happiness." Behind the counter stood an angel. He said to her, "Here, you can find everything you want. You can take it completely for free." "I want happiness and true love." The angel smiled, took something from the shelves and handed her a small pouch. "How? And I can give you only seeds. What you will grow in your life depends only on you."